Will the rapture occur in the fourth watch of the night? Night watches are divided into quarters, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m., from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. In Luke 12, verse 38, Jesus gives a parable where servants who are watching when the master comes are blessed, especially if the master arrives in the second or third watch of the night. He's telling his people to always be watching for his return. He is also saying that it could be later than we think. In Matthew 24, verses 45 to 51, Jesus is speaking of his return for the resurrection of his followers. He says that the faithful and wise servants are going about the master's business, but the evil servant gets drunk and beats his fellow servants. When the master comes, that servant is killed. His final resting place is with the hypocrites. What is the beating of the fellow servants in relation to the church? Is there an increase in gossip and slander? Is there more pressure to be involved in church activities? Or do you feel pressured to agree with doctrines and ways that you feel are unbiblical? Those who think Jesus is tarrying may be tempted to revert to old habits, in effect beating their fellow servants. In the parable, Jesus goes on to describe the rapture. That would seem to indicate that the beating of the fellow servants will be going on when the rapture occurs. Jesus is coming at an hour that you do not expect. Keep watching for him. Love your brothers and sisters in Christ. If you can't, simply ask the Father to put his love within you. Forgive others for their offences, whether real or imagined. In Exodus chapter 12, verse 31, we see that in the third or fourth watch of the night, Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron after the deaths of the firstborn of the Egyptians. That morning the Israelites left Egypt. Remember too that the Egyptians had been beating their Jewish slaves. Perhaps we are in the fourth watch right now. Those who are not watching will be caught off guard when Jesus comes as a thief in the night. Paul said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 that believers are children of the light and that the rapture will not overtake them as a thief. He who calls you is faithful, who will also take you to your heavenly home.